Have you ever noticed that you react to certain situations in ways that don't quite make sense of for your life? Maybe you have an intense fear of not having enough, even though you have never experienced scarcity. Or maybe you carry a default level of stress and hyper-vigilance that does not match your actual day-to-day reality. For a long time, people use phrases like generational curses or family karma to explain these patterns. It felt like we are handed a script at birth written by the generations before us and we are forced to play the part. But what if it is not a mystical curse? What if it is an actual biological software system? Today we are talking about our cellular memory. We are stripping away both the dense textbook jargon and the overly spiritual theories to look at the practical reality. Your ancestors' environments left an imprint on how your body functions today. More importantly, we are going to look at the exact daily habits that act as a keyboard, allowing you to type out a brand new code for your life. To understand how this works, let's use a computer analogy. Your DNA, the actual genetic sequence you got from your biological parents, is like the computer's hardware. It is a physical machine. It does not change. If you have blue eyes or a certain height, that is built into the hardware. But there is a second layer called epigenetics, which literally translates to above or on top of genetics. Think of epigenetics as the software running on that hardware. Your genes have thousands of little light switches. Some switches are turned on, telling your body to produce stress hormones at the slightest drop of a hat. Other switches are turned off, like the ones responsible for helping your nervous system calm down quietly after a scare. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When your ancestors experienced high stress environments, prolonged trauma, or intense behavioral patterns, their software adapted to help them survive. Their bodies essentially took notes on the environment and passed those notes down to the next generation as a survival guide. It is like your grandfather survived a harsh winter and his body passed down a biological sticky note to your nervous system saying, "Hey, the world is a dangerous place, so stay on guard." You did not inherit their specific memories or their actual DNA changes. You inherited their settings. You inherited a nervous system that might be pre-tuned to a higher volume of stress. If the settings can be turned on by stress, they can also be dialed back down by deliberate, consistent lifestyle shift. You are not a passive victim of your family history. You are the programmer. So how do we send different signal to your body to change those settings? We don't do it by just thinking about it. We do it by changing the physiological data our body receives every single day. There are 3 practical, accessible habits that act as regular updates to your internal software. Number 1 is deliberate breathwork. When you experience inherited hypervigilance, your breathing patterns is often shallow and rapid by default. By practicing international slow breathing like extended exhalations, you manually override the fight or flight response. You are effectively sending a clear message to your cells. The environment is currently safe. You can turn down the alarm switches. Number 2 is mindful stillness. You don't need to reach enlightenment for this to work. Sitting quietly and observing your thoughts without reacting to them creates a buffer between a stimulus and your reaction. This pause signals to your brain that you are no longer operating on the automatic ancestral autopilot. You are choosing a new response. Number 3 is somatic experiencing. Stress and old patterns are not just thoughts. They are physically stored as tension in your jaw, your shoulders, and your gut. Somatic experiencing simply means turning into these physical sensations. By paying attention to where your body holds tension, you consciously allowing those muscles to soften. You release the physical loops that keep the old software running. Now, a quick reality check. A single session of deep breathing is not going to instantly wipe clean decades of family programming. Biology does not change overnight. Think of it like paving a new path through a dense forest. The old anxious pathways in your nervous system are wide, cleared, and very easy for your brain to walk down because they have been used for generations. The new calm pathways are overgrown. Every single time you choose a deep breath instead of an automatic reaction, every time you sit in stillness for 5 minutes, and every time you soften your shoulders when you feel stressed, you are stepping on the weeds of that new path. With consistency, the old pathway slowly grows over from disuse, and the new calmer pathway becomes your body's new default setting. You don't need to look at your family history as a life sentence. Your biology is dynamic, adaptable, and waiting for your input. You have the ability to run a completely different set of programs than the ones you were handed. If you are ready to test this out in your own life, let's start small. Don't worry about changing our entire life today. Just pick one small anchor to build into your routine this week.